Hi, folks. Welcome to everybody who's joined us today. It's a pleasure to have so many of you here. This is just to say this is not a webinar format, so feel free to use your videos. We'll be able to see you. We don't need to use a Q&A function. We'll use a raise hand function if we can. We'll also use the chat simultaneously. But I'm going to go get straight to it. Because we want to cover a lot and mostly spend time on your questions today. So Jagdish and I are two of the faculty members that are representing the faculty today. Our own disciplinary diversity should give you a sense of the disciplinary diversity of our faculty. Jagdish is an urban ecologist, comes from many years of training in the environmental and ecological sciences. I'm an urban sociologist who works across planning and housing. And what we're going to do is that for about 15 to 20 minutes, we are going to take you through the structure of the program through a set of slides. And we're doing this because we feel that many of the questions you have may actually simply get picked up. So we can spend our time talking about second level questions, questions that you don't have the answers on the website, less factual questions, and really the things you want to ask. We are a very informal faculty and a very informal institution. No question is a stupid question. You can ask us anything you like about any part of the process, the application, all of it. Okay. So we'll get to as many of you as possible. So let me get right away started. I'm going to actually hand to Jagdish first to get us going as we start. Just confirm that you
Thanks,
are able
Gautam.
to see my slides. Jagdish, you can see my slides?
Yes, yes.
And Puneet, since I can see you, just a thumbs up that you can see my slides as well? Yes, perfect. Go ahead, Jagdish.
Yeah, so this is a brand new doctoral program, and the PhD is going to be in urban studies and practice. But as you, there's lots of interesting features about it, so go get into it. So it's interdisciplinary, it's full-time, funded, and coursework. And then the name of the degree, as I mentioned earlier, is Urban Studies and Practice. And it's depending on where you come from and depending on whichever discipline you're coming from, it's going to foster and generate scholarship on various dimensions: social, economic, spatial, ecological, and so on. So some of the key features of the program, it's of course it's interdisciplinary, and it looks at the complex intersectoral nature of all types of systems and settlements. It looks at various drivers such as urbanization, climate change, environmental and ecological transformations. In terms of the different types of systems that it engages with, all the way from semi-wild ecosystem through rural and urban. And then also there is an important commitment to the interplay between research and practice, as well as the production of new theory. And it looks at a range of settlements from villages to all the way to megacities and diverse social ecological systems, as I mentioned earlier. And it's of course rooted in India and the global south, but completely aware of the global sensibilities and the networks and the knowledge that comes from any part of the world. So that's basically what the program is about. These are the key themes: climate resilient development, economic transformations in human settlements, environment, ecology, and biodiversity, rural and urban transitions, social and human development, sustainability, science and practice, systems, complexity and methods. Again, that can be applied to any type of system: water systems, other systems, urban governance, urban inequality, work, labor, and economy. As you can see, it's very diverse set of themes, so that it can cater to folks coming from any disciplinary background. And each PhD scholar will have a doctoral committee with the 3 to 5 members led by a supervisor. So that gives you the opportunity to have diversity within your doctoral committee, different disciplinary backgrounds and experiences, including folks from maybe one person from external to IIHS as well. So that opportunity is there. And that will work with the folks in the first year. So this is the gradient of systems, settlement types, and ecosystem, social ecological systems that we will encompass all the way from urban areas through rural to semi-wild. So this is the entire spectrum of systems that this program will cater to. Gautam, you want to take over?
Yeah. So, folks, the way we think about the 2 years, and this is important for you. So, what are the 2 years of coursework? There is a set of required core courses. I'll show you some of them that are, in our terminology, courses only for the PhD students, right? So they're doctoral level courses. They are taught only to the PhD cohort, and that's an important distinction of the program. We are very committed to a set of methodological training that many of you may or may not think you need, but we are quite convinced that we all need at all points in our careers. A core part of interdisciplinarity for us is not just working on different topics across disciplines, but it's working on different methods, right? So you may be a geospatial scientist, but you have work for cultural and ethnographic methods and vice versa. And we will train you in those methods. The third then is a choice for you to, in your second year, begin to kind of get elective depth in some areas that you want to expand your PhD to. We imagine that if you're applying to IIHS for a PhD, you already in your mind have a kind of interdisciplinary mix that you want, right? That's why you're applying to us. So these elective courses are the place. Now, some of these will be shared with master's courses, some of them will be PhD only, but you have a wide range of courses to take across the institution for this. And then your third and fourth year, our imagination is that you are out, you have taken your qualifying exams at the end of your second year, you are in your field work, you are doing data analysis, you're doing data collection, you are writing, you are publishing. And our hope is that between years 4 and 5, you will complete. Let me give you a sense of what that looks like. Don't get lost into the detail, but you can begin to see the methods courses I was talking about: writing, ethnography, data, spatial analysis. You don't have to take all of them. You'll craft. Second is you'll see a set of courses that are usually not there in PhD programs: research ethics, research design, doctoral student-led doctoral colloquia, where you will decide the seminar topics of discussion, and very importantly, 3 courses on pedagogy and teaching. We have long said that a lot of PhDs graduate to careers in the academy as teachers, but no one teaches doctoral students actually how to frame their own approach to teaching and pedagogy. This is very important for us. And this will also include you teaching in master's and undergrad courses at IIHS, learning and shadowing and seeing. And here you get a sense of the kind of courses that those 300 level doctoral course electives could be. You'll notice the mix. You may go a little bit more sociological with the 5th course on sociological approaches to urban development, or the course on urban inequalities, or focus on global environmental ecological change and climate action, move to governance. But our ideal goal is that this will allow you to take a set of courses mixing the right set that fits your own doctoral trajectory. And this is one of the reasons why you have a supervisor and a committee right from day one, because you work with your committee to decide how to choose between these courses. We are shaping, in that sense, the listing together. And then, as I said, years 3 and 4, you move. We will take 10 students this year. So it's a tight cohort across the supervisors in the program. And let me talk now a bit about, for the next 5-6 minutes, the process. So there's 2 parts of the process. There is a written application that is open now, that is due on the 20th. And after which all of you will be able to take the examination on the 29th. Now, the examination has 3 parts. It has a short objective multiple choice question set, and I say now, for which you need to do no extra specific preparation whatsoever. The second is a set of short answer questions that are really reflective questions for us to know how you think. Again, we're not looking for specific information. You will not be asked to recall facts. You don't have to memorize anything. Just think out loud with us. One of the questions will be on methods, and one of the questions will be on a topic. You will have lots of choice. And then the 2 main parts of the exam are a statement of your research, which we would like all of you to think about and prepare before you come to the exam. This is the most important part of the exam itself. It is a statement where you say, here's the kind of research questions I want to ask. Here's what my doctoral project looks like. Here's the kind of methods I would use. We don't need a fully fleshed proposal. You don't need to have decided a site and methods. That's not what this is. Imagine it being a page and a half, under 1,000 words. It's a statement of an approach, because over the 2 years of your coursework, you will change and you will evolve this. You're coming to evolve it. But right now, we want a sense of what are your questions? What are you looking at? What are you intrigued by? What is it that you would work on for the next 5 years of your life? Right? We want to see that. And the second is a short statement of motivation that tells us about your own journey to coming to want to apply to a PhD. You've thought about it. It's the right time in your life. It is, you've been working towards it, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. In the application form, you'll see certain elements. There is a writing sample. Let me say again, it does not have to be an academic sample. It can be something shorter. It can give us a sense of something that sounds like you. It can be a blog. It can be an unpublished piece. It's all right. We're not looking for something polished and all done. Anything is fine in a writing sample. If you have published anything, again, even if it's online, not necessarily academically, give us those up to 3 published pieces. This is optional. It is all right if you've not published anything. It is not a requirement. It is not mandatory. We will ask you to choose preferences, if you have them, between 6 of the supervisors that are listed, whose profiles are also on the website. Here again, the idea is not that we're looking for a one-to-one match with the supervisor. We're looking more for a match to the themes that Jagdish talked about. If you don't have a preference, you can leave it. And remember that that supervisor is not going to be the only person in your doctoral committee. There are many more faculty members you will engage with who will be part of advising your journey. So also look at the other faculty member bios as they emerge. And we are asking for 2 letters of reference, but I will say again, the letters do not have to be attached by June 20th. You just have to give us the names and contact details of who can write your letters, and we will reach out to them and we will follow up and get the letters from them. You don't need to do that work. You don't need to do it by the 20th for sure. Many of you have been asking this. Okay. Now, I've already talked to you about the structures of the process on the 22nd. And on the basis of that, so I'll repeat this again. Think about this research proposal. Think about this intellectual statement. Prepare it beforehand, and you will have time to write it up in the exam period. Okay. The second is that after that, a short list of folks will be brought into Bangalore for an interview. And by the time of the interview, we will have reached out to your referees and gotten your letters. If we have trouble, we will reach out to you. Don't worry, but don't panic about the letters. Okay. We're getting a lot of questions that are people nervous about letters. I understand why. As someone who has both requested many letters, but more importantly, written many letters, I get it. Well, we will follow up. We will make the letters show up. Don't worry too much about it. Okay. Second, between these, we are looking at a weightage of 30% for the interview and 70% of the examination. Please remember that written application examination means your research statement and your statement of motivation are large parts of that 70%. So really, if there's one thing you want to spend your time on, spend time on crafting that research statement and that statement of motivation. I will say again, the research statement is, both of them are under 1,000 words. We do not want a 5-page research proposal with sections. You may start there, but be prepared to write about it briefly in about 1.5 pages of single-space text. So practice that. And what we really want to know is, what is your research question, set of questions? They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be refined, but we want to know what you're curious about. Questions matter most in research, right? We don't need you to show us your process. It doesn't need to have many citations if you don't want. It's not an academic paper. It's a statement of your intellectual curiosity and where you want to give the next 5 years of your life in PhD studies. Okay, so you can suggest those. And the statement of motivation, yet again, is about why that question matters to you, what you've been doing with it so far. You may have experimented with the methods. You may know the site. You may already be doing that. Or certain things will have brought you to asking that question. Give us a sense of what that is. Okay. Now, again, it's a fully funded program. No tuition is charged to any students. All admitted PhD scholars are supported with a stipend of 75,000 per month. That is guaranteed for 4 years, including your summer break. So it's 12 months a year, because we believe PhD scholars are professionals and should be treated as such and should have the ability to focus on the rigor of their work. This also includes your entire field work year 3, where you're not in class. So you have money to do field work, money to travel, money to do surveys, all of those. And if you need an extension to the 5th year, it is also possible to extend that to the 5th year, but only with the permission of the committee. To also say, The 75,000 is a single stipend and housing is not included in it. So therefore, our assumption is that students will be responsible. Of course, the IIHS institution staff will be happy to help you, but you are responsible for housing in Bangalore, which is one of the better cities to get housing in. Okay, last slide and I'll stop. Which is to say that, the application process is on till the 20th. The application really is very simple, so don't wait till the last minute. The exam is on the 29th. We will shortlist on the 14th. There are some changes in this timeline. You'll see, we'll update and send an email to everyone. Interviews will be on the 24th, so please mark that date. I know that initial interviews were a little bit earlier, but we have changed that. The offer will come immediately after so that you have time to move to Bangalore. But classes start on the 1st of September, and our hope is to have you in Bangalore by the end of August. Okay. All right. That's really the long and short of it from us. I hope some of the questions have already passed and we have a good 40 minutes. And now we're going to do two things. There are two of us, and I know there may be lots of questions. So do two things. One, use the raise hand function in your Zoom, and I will come to you. Please feel free to open your videos now. We're happy to chat with you. If for some reason you need to, you can also put some questions in the chat, but let's try the raise hand first. If you feel like there's too many hands and we may miss your question, put it in the chat and one of us will type it and one of us will answer and we'll take questions back and forth. Floor is now open, folks. So use the raise hand question. Feel free to unmute yourself, put your video on if you can. Be great to see who's here and I will call upon you. So over to you guys. Yes, Vasudevan, go ahead. Vasudevan, yeah. Hi, go ahead.
Unmute and you're unable to unmute. Would you like to type it in the chat box?
Hey,
Yeah, right now I can.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. I mean, thank you so much, both Jagdish and Gautam, for quite a crisp introduction. I just have a couple of questions. Hope I'm not stealing away others' time as well. If I have some time, I'll shoot one by one.
Okay.
I'm a practicing journalist. I hold two masters. I'm a journalist for about, let's say, close to 15 years. I'm curious to understand. I know this is a rigorous academic program, which I'm deeply passionate about. All the topics, some of them are really, really close to my heart, which I would want to explore further. I just want to understand, do you see any practical challenges, or what kind of challenges would you see from a practicing professional switching to more of academic program? But and do you think
None. That's none. You shouldn't worry about this at all. None
okay,
whatsoever. We are an institute of practitioners. Half
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
faculty practitioners. This is in our DNA, and we've taught for 10 years now with our students coming from so many journalists, including many of whom have done deeply theoretical work. So if you're wondering if you'll suddenly be in a world of academic theory as a practitioner, that shall not happen. If it was, we would be very mediocre teachers, and we're not. So I would not worry about it at all.
Brilliant. Okay. In terms of um, are we allowed to take some? I know it's a full-time program, but are we allowed to take some sort of related work, not full-time employment or not for monetary purposes? Let's say writing columns or even continuing some of these topics to explore further. Are those allowed, or
Yes, of course. I mean, writing columns is your right as a citizen, let alone as anything else. So you must. We absolutely would say, please don't take any kind of work that in its time takes away from your ability to be immersed. So part-time or full-time consulting work where you have deadlines and projects, etc.,
yeah,
won't work. But
yeah,
of course, if you want to write occasionally for news media, that is also your political life and it is your passion, and all of us have lives outside our
Yeah, as long as you're within sight, I mean, you can do whatever. So
exactly. We shouldn't be like, where's Vasu gone? He's been like doing other things. That
absolutely,
shouldn't happen.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it is a rigorous full-time program. Don't
Yeah.
concede that. Other than that, it's totally fine.
No, no. The only reason I'm asking is I don't want to lose the skill of writing. I'm passionate about it. If I
Hope,
lose touch for
yeah.
1 or 2 years, it'll become too
No.
difficult.
Hopefully, we'll also give you plenty of practice in writing.
Okay, even better, even better, even better. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Vasu. I'm going to move on. So I'm going to go to,
Sure,
if you
please.
have
Yeah,
any
yeah.
more questions, jump in the chat. So
Please.
Sukanya, then Malaika, then Tejas. Go ahead, Sukanya.
So shall I'll take, okay.
Yes.
Anusha, if I wanted to know if I can apply before MSc exam, as the exam is in August and the results will be announced by September end.
So the only concern, Anusha, is that there is a 55% minimum mandate regulatory requirement. And so we will need evidence of that.
Yeah.
So can you do us a favor? Let's not answer off the cuff. Could you send this inquiry to admissions@ihs.ac.in? Let us give you a written response on how to get around this. Okay. So let's not answer off the cuff on this one. Sukanya, go ahead. Are you able to unmute, Sukanya? Maybe I have to give you permission.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So my concern is I'm basically a historian, and but I have been working on urban space and the urban condition of the post-colonial city. That is my area of research, and I have also sort of already done one PhD. So does that disqualify
Already
me?
done a PhD?
Yes.
So why don't you come teach in the program with us instead?
Actually, when I did the other PhD, this one did not exist. Otherwise, I would have done this. It was a general PhD in history from JNU, but my work is on urban, urban space, and as I said, spatial politics and things like that. But the thing is that, so I just want to know, but this PhD, why I'm attracted to this is because it aligns like theory with practice. So because while working or writing on urbanity, the urban condition, etc., I've often felt that I want to work more on the field, because as a historian, we work in the archive. Though the idea of the archive, of course, has changed, but I wanted to do more hands-on things like ethnographic research and things like that. So, which is why this course attracts me a lot. But I want to do it, but I would want to ask you also that whether this is a wise decision.
Far be it from either of us. I mean, we can't stop you from applying.
Yeah.
I would say we would need a very good reason in that statement of motivation on why you would be doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe the question is radically different. Maybe you are looking for something in your life. So just explain it to us, because
Right.
our eyebrows will go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Jagdish, I don't know if you want to say something.
No, just that, there are folks who want to do a PhD for the first time. So this is unusual. But I must say that you should give it a shot and make your case.
No, I will certainly apply. No one can stop me from applying. But I just want to.
We won't hold it against you, but we will need some extra convincing. So anticipate that and try to convince us.
Right. Okay, thanks.
I'm going to go to Malaika. Go ahead, Malaika.
Malaika, you want to unmute?
Hi, Gautam and Jagdish. My background is in ecology and biodiversity conservation. I just want to understand whether it would be a concern for me in the future if I hold a degree in urban studies, wanting to only stay in this path of biodiversity conservation. I'm very open to the interdisciplinarity of this course. I'm just, in terms of just I just want to ask if this may be an issue in the future.
So let me take a shot. The degree may be called PhD in Urban Studies and Practice, but it's your thesis, the title and what you do actually in your PhD that will ultimately matter. So as I had mentioned, we cover the entire spectrum of human settlements and social ecological systems, all the way from semi-wild all the way 2 mega cities. So there is absolutely no problem with this. And there are other institutions which actually have, because of various reasons, historical legacy and other things, and genuine reasons too, that the degree is called a particular, it's got a particular name, but a diversity of topics can be done under that. And you can find that in IIMs and IITs and many other places where people have done, really done creative things, even though the degree might be called something. So that's my answer to that. Gautam, if you want to add anything.
No, I think that I would agree to that, but let's move on. So I'll take Tejas and Anirudh next. Tejas, go ahead.
Hello, thank you for the orientation. So I wanted to ask, because I'm just completing my master's in sociology, and I largely work within critical legal social studies, like social legal studies, and I wanted to ask if it's okay or encouraged to somehow work between urban scholarship and critical social studies in a historical register, right? Because largely my work has been about the political economy changes post-liberalization and how groups become formed in those specific things. And I was recently thinking about how cities and migration networks work here. So I was thinking if you can work with something like that.
Yep.
And another thing I wanted to ask was, so my degree will be given, I think, much later, but all my exams are done. So I wanted to ask, when is how will that work, right, in the applications?
So I think that's fine. As long as your exams are completed, we have a sense of that, and you can finish up while you're enrolled. I think that's okay. We will again ask you on these specific things just to put in an email to admissions@ihs.ac.in. So we just also give you a reply in writing, and someone looks at it who has thought of it more in a line by line regulatory way than I have. So just that, but I don't think it should be an issue, because I know we said in the prospectus or completed without the degree. I know that category is there, so I don't think it should be an issue. And on your thematic question, absolutely, political economy, history, political economy, critical. That's the whole point of interdisciplinarity, is that for us this would not even be a question. So you only have to ask this question, Tejas, in a discipline. You don't have to ask it to us. We will go wherever your question goes. If your question, now my only challenge will be if your question doesn't require historicization, faltu ki historicization is not required. There's a lot of people who do that. So the only thing that holds is, what does your question need? So if your question is about the historical evolution of political economy categories, we will ask it, right? But if it's not, then just because you're a historian doesn't mean you do historicization. You only do it if the question requires it. That would be the only thing I would say. Okay? All right. Good question. Anirudh, go ahead. You should be able to unmute this time. There you go.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Gautam. Thanks, Jagdish, for the introduction. Very quickly, I have a background in water science and policy. I've been doing climate adaptation and resilience consulting for a couple of years. And right now I'm at a stage where I want to be more grounded in terms of where I'm working and how I'm contributing towards that. And since this PhD is called Urban Studies and Practice, I think that's what got me thinking. So I have two questions. One is, would this PhD structure kind of allow me to informally kind of have mentors from outside the IIHS system? So if I want to have a Veena Srinivasan or a Harini Nagendra to kind of advise me informally on and off, is that possible? That's question number one. And question number two is, I also want to contribute more to what's already happening on the ground. So would it be kind of possible where I figure out a model where I'm tailing maybe a Gram Vikas or an FES, and my PhD thinking and findings kind of evolve with the work they do, so that it doesn't become like an analytical piece of work that's just mine. So that's my two questions. Thank you.
Yes, so first, very quickly, it is, we would want at least one member of your doctoral committee to be from outside. So Harini is great. You could ask her, you could ask anyone, we could go to them. As long as they're willing to say yes, we are good. And the second part is, I mean, that's why you have an entire year of fieldwork. So that's because you have the time for the field to evolve and the work to evolve. And honestly, Anirudh, there is no PhD in which the field is not evolving and changing as you do it. So it is mythical to think you study something that just stands still and waits for our fieldwork. It does not. It is doing its own thing. We are the one that is interloping in that period of time. And then the challenge is, how do you write something that you looked at a moment of time when you're writing about it and not at that moment of time? So the challenge of temporality is ours about analysis and writing. The field is always moving, never still. Not just because it's Gram Vikas and FE as an organization. All fields, the same neighborhood you see is not the same the second week you go than the first week you go. Yeah, Jagdish, you want to come in on this?
Yeah, I mean, as long as IIHS folks are, the supervisor will be from IIHS, and we have 3 to 5 members in the committee, so that gives a lot of leeway for involving folks from outside. So that's one. That's a quick and also I think that you will when you will craft your ideas, you will hone your ideas over a period of time, and that's why the committee will be working with you from the initial stages itself.
Yes, perfect. Shivani, go ahead. And then I have Bharat, Priyanka, and Neha. Go ahead, Shivani.
Hi, Gautam and Jagdish. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I have 3 quick questions. So one was a confirmation regarding the selection process. So I wanted to ask, will the selection of the candidates to be interviewed happen solely on the basis of the online exam, or will it be a cumulative of the performance of the online exam and the application and the LORs?
All of those. But again, I'm saying it. Most emphasis, research proposal, statement of motivation. That's really what we want to see the most. So we will not look at the LORs in the online exam, because we'll only look at them as context in the interview. In the written application and exam means your statement of work, your research proposal, your answers to the 2 sections of the exam, and your statement of motivation. That is the basis of shortlisting.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So with regards to that, I just needed a quick advice for the writing sample. So should I upload a co-authored published piece with significant individual contribution that is peripherally linked to my PhD proposal, or upload an unpublished self-authored piece that is more directly linked to my proposal?
Take the one you like better, where you think the writing is stronger and it reflects you as a scholar. Your writing sample does not have to be linked to your PhD topic, guys. It is not an additional evidence of your expertise. It is a demonstration of literally what it says, a sample of your writing. We want to know how you think. We want to know how you write. It is fine for it to be co-authored. Just put a little note in where we've put in to say, this is my role. This is what I did in the co-authorship. Pick the piece that you feel represents you at the moment where you're applying. The piece that you want to write, like the piece that is closer to what you're building towards as you apply to pick that piece.
Okay, thanks for that clarity. And one final question. I was just wondering whether doctoral students would be permitted to audit courses that are not a part of their 7 elective courses. Is that permitted?
You won't have any time.
Okay.
Because it's a pretty busy schedule.
You won't have any time. But remember, in your second year, you can take electives. You don't have to audit them. We will hold you to those, 4 or 5 of those PhD elective, but we will also let you take master's courses in other fields. You will have plenty of elective choice. You won't need to audit it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, Jagdish, I'm going to do some typing in the chat and let you answer.
I'll take on a few. I've answered a few, but yeah.
So Bharat, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Gautam and Jagdish sir. So I come from NGO background, purely implementing programs on climate change and informal community as such. So where the scope of research is mostly doing surveys and focus group discussion as thing. So when during the entrance exams, what is the is that all, or is there anything else that we need to know in terms of research methodology as such?
So the entrance exam is designed to cater to folks from any background. So that is one, and which means that the opportunity for everybody to do reasonably well will be there. And And so you will see whether it's the MCQ section or whether it's the short answer section, there will be opportunities across teams and topics. And so that's how the exam is designed. And you have probably seen the sample question paper that's just representative. So you'll see that it's pretty diverse in terms of topics and themes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Priyanka, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Gautam, hi Jagdish. Yeah, so I work with Lokniti CSTS, but my proposal basically draws from one of the TSF India projects I was a part of, and I wanted to ask that my proposal builds on that study, but recently with my mentors, Dr. Jyoti Dalal, we have also forayed into areas of psychoanalysis where I'm trying to understand the slum which we worked in Delhi. We are trying to look at it a little bit psychoanalytically and trying to understand the unconscious dimension of identity and desire and exclusion and subjective marginality. So I wanted to ask if when we are saying it interdisciplinary, will we also be having some scope to delve into the psychoanalytic aspect of it? Should I make it a part of my proposal, or if that is not too encouraged in the department, I can leave that out a bit and also take that separately as an interest in reading and developing it. So yeah.
So one is, I'll just, before Gautam comes in, I'll just mention that your PhD committee can have somebody from a discipline which may not be that well represented within the IIHS faculty, right? So that's the whole idea of having 3 to 5 members.
Okay.
There will always be some topic or theme on which any particular department anywhere in the world may not have somebody, right? So there is a way to bring in components into your research and have some support, intellectual support and mentorship from a committee member. So that's a good option. So that is my general response to any of these very specific requirements in terms of the ideas for your research.
Okay. Thanks, Jagdish.
I would agree to that. And you can absolutely explore them with us also. But remember, our job as a committee will be to bind you enough that you finish in 5 years.
Yeah.
Remember, the great danger of PhD dissertations is that they become inseparable from the rest of your life, and they are not. They are not the rest of your life. They are a degree to begin a much nicer and joyful existence as a researcher with a PhD. So we will tell you that in a single PhD, you do not need to reinvent all the disciplines of every aspect of a problem. Okay, remember some of the bound, but you are open to explore them as much as possible. No problem.
Okay. I actually asked this question because when I had applied to somewhere else, and actually the department faculty told me that we are not encouraging psychoanalytic theory in our department. So that's why I was a little skeptical about and wanted to ask.
Our rule on this is always, like I was saying to Tejas, if your question requires it,
yeah,
you go there. Because if your question is about, but again, the question will be, why do you want to use psychoanalytical theory?
Yeah.
It has to do some work for you, explain some part of your research that other things cannot. Then, yes, we'll do it. And if we have to do some homework and you have to do some homework, we'll all do some homework. That's the way it runs.
Yeah.
Okay, Neha, go ahead.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the session. Really appreciate it. My concerns have to do with the fact that there's a huge gap between my bachelor's and my master's. And I have been working as a trade union activist, organizing workers in informal sectors in Delhi. And so I don't come in like the traditional avenue of professional work. So is it okay if I include that work experience in my application? And
Not okay. You must include the work experience in your application. That is exactly the story you must tell in your statement of motivation. So all we want to hear, Neha, is that being a trade union activist, you now have a question to which you don't have the answer.
Yeah.
There is something you don't understand. Is it about the nature of organizing in a new type of historical and economic moment? Is it about the politics of resistance and urban groups? Is it about I have a lot of things to say about unions and questions. Is it about the distinction between old forms of union labor organizing versus new forms of informal worker federating? So the only thing I would say to you is, if for any of you who are practitioners, guys, the one thing I want you to keep in mind, the PhD is not a place to reflect on your practice. It is a place to ask questions from your practice. It must take us our knowledge forward. So we must know more about organizing, right? And then in your statement of motivation, say, I am the best person to ask this question because I am an organizer. So I know how to ask it, right? It's a major plus for you. So don't think of this language of gap between your bachelor's and your master. You didn't have a gap. You were working. Why is there a gap? So use all of it, own all of it. Don't write about it with some explanatory defensiveness. Say, I spent years as an organizer, and now I have questions about organizing. That's a great application.
Okay, yeah, okay, thanks. That really, addresses a lot of my anxiety. Second thing related to this is for the references, is it important to give only academic references, or could I give a reference to somebody I've worked with in the field?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And again,
because
and as you're writing, guys, this is an expression of your questions. Even if you don't have a single academic reference in your statement, it does not matter. It is not a literature review. It is not a performance. If you want to use a person from the field, use them. Really remember, what we're after is to understand what is your intellectual project. What are your questions? What do you want to understand? What do you want to research? What do you want to do? That's all we want. We don't need citations. Use them if they are important for you.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Pauline.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the thorough presentation. So I've been thinking about applying, and I've been framing sort of my research interest, and lies in the transportation systems of Delhi, especially how they shape like access and exclusion. Since the program is based in Bangalore, my question essentially is, I was wondering how flexible is it in terms of doing field work or research that is based in another city? And would it be advisable to rethink sort of the geographical focus of my proposal, or is working in Delhi still feasible within sort of the structure that is for this PhD?
Jagdish, you want to take that?
Yeah. I mean, just like many of us at IIHS who work across the country, the PhD scholars that are going to enter our program may have research field work in any part of the country. In fact, we work across the entire range. There are going to be folks who might work on Himalayan settlements. Somebody might be working on Delhi. Somebody might be working in some northeastern town. So, I mean, there is absolutely no constraint on the choice of field site. Of course, it has to be feasible. It has to be something that you can finish in the time allocated for the PhD and all of that. But other than that, I don't think there is any constraint.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and remember, that's one of the reasons why you have money for year 4 in your pocket. It gives you you also have the money to go to that other city and do the field work. Half the problem is, theoretically, everyone's open to doing field work anywhere, and no one can afford to do that. So the good thing is, you may not be rich, but you certainly have enough money to do nothing else but field work wherever you want to go. And that much you have. And that's why we want some really quality field stuff in that 3rd and 4th year. To use that, not worry about grants, not worry about chasing opportunities, but have the opportunity to do it well.
Thank you so much.
Ashil. I'm not saying this right. Sorry.
Hi, it's Ashil.
Okay, Ashil. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so hi. So my question is although I graduated recently in 2024 with a background in social work, so I do not have extensive professional experience. So after that year, it's a bit of a break or career break or something. So how open is IIHS in welcoming fresh graduates like me into its doctoral program? Also, what attracted me to IIHS is its strong emphasis on practice. I find it unique that an institution which initially focused on policy advocacy and research has now evolved into a deemed to be university. So that's my question, actually.
We are open to it, but in your statement of motivation, just like we were saying to Sukanya, at least I would want to know why you want to immediately go to a PhD after just finishing. I would want an understanding, right? Because remember, PhDs are also about having had the time to find questions you want to give 5 years of your life to, right? So the question we want to know is, and maybe you say to us, look, so say, Ashil, you told us you were actually a philosopher, a critical philosopher theory, right? And you want to explore things. I would be a little bit more open. But say you wanted to work on what Neha is saying, on labor organizing, but you never actually looked at labor organizing. I would look at you and say, well, why don't, if you want to study labor organizing, why don't you join a union for a bit? And then your questions will be sharper.
Yeah.
They will come from place. So openness to it, but I would want to be convinced that you have had enough experience to be sure of your question. That's the only criteria. Otherwise, there's no other. Jagdish?
But you have to make a case for yourself that, you have thought about it. Maybe you gained some insights from somewhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Isha, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you so much for the insights. I have actually two questions. So, first of all, my background is in social. It's not in social science or public policy. I am a completely engineering tech background person, but currently working under Jal Jeevan Mission for Professor Gopal Nayak in IIM Bangalore. I'm actually interested in your PhD and PhD program, and I would love to apply for it. So, would you just help me understand that if the coursework is enough for me to get all that background knowledge I need for the social sciences or the public policy part of it? If you could just give me, I have seen the course list and everything, but even if you could just explain to me a little bit about that. And my second question is that what about international conferences or even national conferences and all of that? Like, is there a separate funding apart from the scholarship that we are getting, or is it included within that? If I'm going for conferences or workshops or any of these things.
Yes. So I'll just go on the first part, the water part. So Jal Jeevan Mission is very much in line with some of the work we are already doing, and plus it's part of the topics also. And there are courses like global environmental change, which will cover water systems. There are other courses which will add social and economic dimensions to the questions that you're interested in. Plus, there are higher level master's courses also open to PhD students. So these are all opportunities for you to develop some depth and breadth as part of the PhD. So I don't see any problem with that. Gautam, you want to add more things?
No, I agree. I think that's right. Gayatri, go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So thank you for the call again. My question would be regarding the methodology part of it. I mean, we are kind of questioning something which we haven't, found in a groundwork research for, or, even explored as such. And maybe I'm not, I am very novice to it. But how do you know, I mean, how deep do you need to know the kind of methodology we want to pursue? Because as you said, it might change over the years, and we might not have a clear idea on how to go about it, how to, handle it, or, I mean, the statement of research, has to encompass it in such, at least a small way. And how deep do you need that methodology of part to be?
Not much at all. Give us a sense. You have 2 years of coursework to make and defend your proposal.
Yeah.
We want, I mean, at this point, literally, Gayatri, want to know, are you studying wetlands in Bangalore because you're interested in ecosystem questions? Are you studying trade union organ? Like, I mean, literally just that.
Yeah.
Like, just want a general sense of where you're going and what your question is. We don't need details. We methodologically, I would love to know, and you can just say, I've been working ethnographically. I'm looking forward to doing more modeling or quantitative methods. I want to learn more of that. I would, just give us a general sense of the way you relate to it. Nothing.
Yeah. And or qualitative or any other ethnographic, anything, I mean.
Do you not concentrate on, I'm very sorry. Do you not concentrate on the end outcome as such, or
there is no point. We don't need it for now.
No.
You will have 2 years to develop this. And in that, you will work with an entire committee who will sort it out. We don't need you. If you had that proposal figured now, why would we make you do 2 years of coursework? We would just send you to the field, like the way the UK model is. We're very clear that if we wanted that, we would have asked you for a 10-page research proposal with methods locked in. We don't want it. And because we're also convinced that after 2 years, you'll change your mind. So, Shriti and then Mansi, and then folks, I apologize. I have to step away. Jagdish will take the closing of the call. Jagdish, just one thing on Subhay, you may want to come in. I realize that unless you press the ask to unmute, people can't unmute themselves. Huh? Just FYI, I've been doing that. Shriti, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have done my master's in media governance, and for like since 5 years, I was exploring. Although I was working in the organization which is focusing on the communication perspective, but my independent research was something that is on the disability and disability studies. So I was looking at the intersection of both the disability and the urban studies actually, and have been trying to look at that how the able-bodied normativity is something that is being it's kind of these things that I was trying to explore. I'm just trying to figure out that if it's going to be the co-supervised or something, because it's like of that kind of like both the intersection of disability and the urban planning. Although I read your papers like on the evictions that is in Delhi, and I'm trying to like that of citizenship thing, something that applies to the disability
You,
as well.
you,
So
you don't have to make so you can absolutely do this work within the PhD. There are multiple ways to do it. And one thing I will say is just one day because of just fast transitions for new universities in complex worlds, all the people who you all know at IIHS who work, like Divya Ravindranath on care work, I see that in there. All of them will be available to be part of your research committee. And I will say to you all, please track our website over the next 5 days very carefully. The number of people on that faculty page will keep expanding. Okay, it's a long story, but all I'm saying is they're there. And if you generally know people from IHS earlier, they are going to be part of the university as well. So just take that from us, keep tracking that page. All of those people will be available. It is not just the 6 of us who are listed as supervisors. That larger faculty is absolutely there. Yeah?
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Mansi.
Hello, thank you, Gautam and Jagdish, for this session. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Thank you. I just have two questions. One is that I request some more clarity on the deprivation points so that I can just make sense of the seats and the intake and how they are applied, whether there's a cap or on each of the points or how they work. So one is that. Another question is that I want to get a sense of how coursework works across schools. So I noticed there are a couple of schools there, and if there is a difference in how, how a candidate approaches coursework, and how is it even determined what school they belong to? Just that. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Mansi. So the IIHS PhD program is a single interdisciplinary program across the university. It does not belong to schools. We don't differentiate across the schools. All faculty across all schools teach it. The schools are more relevant for the master's program. Even there is no one-to-one matching in any of our master's program to our schools. So the courses are not cut like that. And the second point about the diversity points on Mansi, because it's a fully funded PhD at this point, but also for other reasons that we don't have full time to get in today, the diversity points apply to the master's program, but not to the PhD program, fortunately, at this point. Yeah, those are the two answers.
Okay. I just got a sense of that from the website, but thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, look forward to clarification. Okay, Apurva, can we do one last question and close, guys? Oh, she's gone. Apurva? Yeah.
Yes. Hello, am I audible?
You are.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this webinar. It's really helpful. I have been kind of contemplating on two PhD topics. One, which is, I have typed it in the questions. I'd like to repeat my question. One, which I have been thinking of as a strong cause from a long time regarding the wetland erasure happening in East Bangalore. That's where I'm situated. I'm in Kadugudi, Beltur area, and seeing the lakes being debris dumped and encroached has it made me write a lot of poetry, eco-feminist poetry on it. So this cause was the first thought that came to my mind when I saw the PhD call. But then I also wanted to explore another idea which could be slightly experimental. What would it be like to use autoethnography as a research method to understand urban lived experience? And I want to know like which one should I lean into more? Something which is hard and practical, and scientific, or something which is more experimental and so yeah.
Yeah, so we cater to a diversity of methodological approaches. So, for example, in ecology too, on our long-term urban ecological observatory, we have experiments on our campus and also observations and measurements. And so, similarly, on the social sciences side, and on there could be other types of methodological approaches. So you may not exactly find a match between, say, the folks or currently in the list of supervisors or others will be added to match it, but that's why the PhD committee is there to help you with any specialized type of help you need for designing an experiment or conducting something, as long as it's ethical and it meets all the other requirements of PhD of our PhD. There shouldn't be any problem in bringing in something like that.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to actually know, because both of those topics would be vastly different. When I mean autoethnography as a methodology, not for the wetland erasure, it would be a completely different topic as to understanding how.
You're fading out. The voice is a little low.
Okay. Sorry. Am I better audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I meant was, two topics are vastly different. One would be about the wetland erasure, and the other would be about examining personal personal documentation of lived experience to understand what it talks about, what it reveals about the city. So they're not connected, but two, like, one would be more poetic and maybe trying to understand graphics, visuals, design, and things like that, and the other is scientific, and wetland erasure is a clear topic. So I was
So as long as you can make a case for its coherency, because it has to all come together as adding, generating new knowledge. And there could be many dimensions, right? You could be working on wetlands, and people could be looking at biophysical, ecological, social, cultural aspects too. And so I would put some of this into the cultural part. So you just have to make a case for it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, who's Snehal?
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for this session. I actually joined a bit late. So there are 3 points. One, because I joined late, is there any other opportunity to have another webinar from the university where I can, listen and ask my question in a very brief way? That's one. Second, sir, I wanted to know how much important the reference part of the online application is, because I do not have um, any strong referee, so to say, because I just passed out, completed my master. So only professor's recommendation I can give, but I just wanted to know the weightage to the reference section in the online application process. And third is, sir, on 29th we also have UGC net exam going on, and maybe many of us really wanted to appear for that exam as well. And on the similar date we have IIHS exam as well. So will there be any kind of wave off in terms of date of the exam? So these are the 3 broader
So these
questions.
so these are important ones. Regarding the clash between the exams and the timing, I would rather have the folks who are managing that get back to you. So you may want to write. You can go through the website, and I think we will be able to answer those questions, because those are very specific. I don't want to give you anything which I don't know at the moment, because there's always some challenges with these clashes and so on. So I don't want to make any commitment, but I think that this is an important question, and you should raise it with our folks who are dealing with that part.
Jagdish, just to quickly comment regarding that, is that the IHS examinations were actually scheduled way before, and keeping in mind with the NEET examinations. It is just that those exams have actually been moved, and it's now coinciding. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to shift our dates right now.
Thanks, Subir.
Okay, all right. Regarding 2 more questions, sir, if you can shed some light.
which so who's next? Is it?
No, sir.
Hi. Sorry. You may go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, the first one regarding how much weightage is there for the reference part in the application process.
I think that you should read the prospectus carefully, because the references are not, they're not like graded or anything like that. I mean, it's the references are about us to get to know you through folks who have known about your work, or about the things that you have done and so on. So so that's my response.
Okay, I just want to step in and very quickly just flag this since an admin member is here. So I just sort of wanted to make a request that if the dates cannot be shifted, may it be considered that the exam be taken in the evening or sort of in the afternoon, so that like people can accommodate both, as the exam if I remember correctly, the net slot is in the morning. So if this like request could be considered, I can also write as well, but just wanted to step in and say this. Thank you.
Subhay?
Yeah, you can just write to us and we'll look into this. Jagdish, shall we take the last question and
Yes, we'll take the last question, and then if you have anything else specific, get in touch with us and we'll try our best, because there will always be questions, but please read the PhD prospectus word by word. It will give you most of the answers, and if there's anything still not clear, we are happy to help you with that. So who's the next?
I think Mansi Singh is the last person.
Yeah, because Snehal just asked. Yeah. Snehal, you have another question, or?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, because your hand goes up. Okay. So, Subhay, should we wrap up?
Yes. Thank you so much, Jagdish, for taking the time to, answer all the questions to our PhD applicants. I thank everyone for taking the time on a busy weekday to actually come and join our webinars. I have posted a link to all our critical, links to our websites, our, events that are happening. We're having a careers opportunities in the urban this Friday with various different, external experts from different sectors. The information is out there. Please do that. And if you want to meet us in person, this Saturday we are having an open day in Bangalore campus. And you can also sort of talk to us on Instagram this Sunday. We're having an Ask Me Anything live. So in case you have more questions and queries, we'll be happy to answer that for you. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. All of you, take care.